This episode is brought to you by Jacqueline Novogratz and her legendary quote, "The opposite of poverty is dignity. It is having a choice, having opportunity, having agency over who you are in your life and what you are capable of doing."
Welcome to the Stephan Dyer Podcast, my people.
Hello, my people! Welcome to the Stephan Dyer Podcast, where I welcome people with remarkable stories for amazingly vulnerable conversations. I am Stephan Dyer, former banker turned comedian and lifestyle entrepreneur, and this is Liam Dyer, my son, on camera. If you're watching us on YouTube or Spotify, look at his beautiful face. He's on the podcast today doing the intro. And this episode with Karim Rifai Burneo was proof that we can be optimistic about the future, my friends. Liam, we can be optimistic. We all need a Karim in our life. Karim Rifai Burneo is a for-purpose entrepreneur and the founder and CEO of Uaiki, a Peruvian non-for-profit organization whose purpose is to bring internet to disadvantaged communities across Peru and Latin America so that they can exploit their potential regardless of where they are born or their income level. Isn't that true, Liam? Isn't that true? The plan is to deploy Uaiki's patented low-cost solution, an ecosystem called UcloudNet, and bring it to disadvantaged communities across Latin America to change millions of lives. I can't tell you how impressed I was with Karim and his passion. Oh my God, I left that episode so energized and proud that my generation is making moves to make this a better planet. As you know, I have a 2-year-old son. He's with me right now on camera. Dile hola. Dile hola. Dile hola. Hola. We often hear the phrase, let's leave a better planet for our kids. How about let's leave better kids for our planet? With Karims Example and many others in our generation.
Canción.
Sí, papi canción. Ya vamos a escuchar una canción después de esta intro, mi amor. With Karims Example and many others in our generation, I'm sure we're setting a great example for the next generation, for the Liams of the next generation. And I really authentically feel there's hope. If you like this episode, share it, give us a review, screenshot it on your Instagram stories, and tag us at Stephan Dyer and at _K_Rifai, which is RIFAI, and _Uaiki_. Uaiki is spelled UAIKI. If you want to connect with Karim and support Uaiki, see the episode notes, so you can just click on the website and or Instagrams. There's so many ways to help, and it makes a huge difference. Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost making it to the end. Liam, you survived. He's an incredible entrepreneur. He's passionate. He's connecting the unconnected in Peru and across Latin America. Enjoy this episode with Karim Rifai Burneo, like I know you will. In 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to the Stephan Dyer Podcast. I have here the unbreakable, the unmistakable, the highly capable Karim Rifai Burneo. How are you, my friend?
How are you, Stephan? This is too much of a welcome for me, I think, but thank you very much.
Well, this is the welcome that you deserve because you're doing great things with Uaiki, innovations to connect the world. And because I'm Latino, I'm Costa Rican, born in Costa Rica, but my whole family is Peruvian. When my mom mentioned Uaiki to me, I was immediately drawn to this initiative because it's hard to find people who are actually wanting to make a difference. And let me tell you what I mean by that. One of the traditions of the podcast is to tell people why I invited them. And because I'm Peruvian in many ways, I mean, I was born in Costa Rica, but I've been to Peru like 100 times or 60 times. I don't even know how many times. I was just there in August. And I know the bubble that there is in Lima where the 1% or the 0.001% live. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm very grateful to experience these things when I go to Lima, but it is very evident and clear that the vast majority of people in Peru don't enjoy this bubble, this well-being, this access to opportunities, to education, to English, to internet. And when I hear that you are someone who's very smart, you speak perfect English, you've been able to study in the US, perfectly, you could have said, hey, I'm going to work a 9 to 5, or I'm going to work for my family, or I'm going to work for my dad's friends or at a bank, and I'm just going to chill for the rest of my life. By the way, I'm not taking any credit for the people that do want. I'm not taking credit away from them. I know it's hard to do a 9 to 5, and there's merit and dignity and things in that world. But you decided to, no, I'm going to go ahead and try to take internet to the poorest of people in the rural areas of Peru, to give them the opportunities that I didn't have. I mean, that I had, and to change their lives through the internet. Can you explain a little bit of where this passion came from? And did you always have this initiative, an idea, from the time that you went to university? Where did this initiative and idea come from?
Well, Stephan, thank you so much for your previous comments. Really motivates me. It's been 7 years of struggling, but people like you put me the gas to the top. Gasoline, as I call it, 99. That is the one that we really need to keep on going. I believe I was really lucky, not only because of being that privileged and having the opportunity of being raised in a country such diverse as Peru. I had all the opportunities I could imagine. Even they had me a laptop in when I was 12 years old at school, with unlimited access to internet at school and at home. It really did change my life, actually, that tool. I enjoy the movement of the internet when it was exploding, and I knew how it was when it did not exist. So I really appreciate it. It's different from my younger sister. She was born with this. It was part of the reality.
Yeah.
It's like cars. It's before like being born before Henry Ford and then and after. It's something like that. I appreciate the car as people enjoying that experience. I appreciate the internet so much. And I had the chance to enjoy Wikipedia, and I'm crazy about history, really. I'm really curious. So for me, having access to Wikipedia and jumping from link to link was something incredible, and created a snowball effect in my brain to discover and to be more curious. And then not doing anything about it because or for it, because I wasn't in charge of the Wikipedia project as Jimmy Wales or as YouTube, for example. And these inventions existed, and YouTube now is part of my life. I finish working and I stay up till 3 a.m., 2 a.m. sometimes, just doing research of everything, space, history, nature, sports, whatever, because I think everything is connected, and at the end, perspective grows, understanding grows, and that's power, to try to understand Stephan, what makes this tick, how can I help you, and understand problems, how can I solve them, that's true power. So for me, access to information allowed me to believe I'm powerful, to believe that I can understand. And since I had that luck, I have been really lucky of even trying to be a professional soccer player. I used to play for my country, for under 15s, under 17s. I dreamed of playing in Europe. I actually did play in Europe for Sporting Braga, and had this amazing opportunity of using this sport that I don't consider this a sport as other sport, because football, soccer moves nations, And for me, not just a sport, it was an opportunity to accomplish a dream that I had since I had memory. But also in my country, football can allow you to be so recognized that you can promote changes in every front you want. So for me, that was my first goal. I played professional here with 80% of the national team that goes to a World Cup, they are my friends. I used to train with them.
Oh
when I
yeah,
was
what
young.
team?
For example, Cuevita, Galese, Flores, and so on. People from the team that score goals regularly, Andre Carrillo, are people from my generation, that I used to train
Yeah.
with. So
And what
for
team?
me, soccer,
What team did
I
you
used
work?
to play for Regata, San Martin, Alianza, for different teams here in Lima. Also had the opportunity of playing abroad. And I want to mention that having this chance of playing football, apart from helping in leadership, communication, confidence, and so on, and for me, I would not be Karim without this opportunity of football. For me, it was a chance of being brothers with people from unprivileged backgrounds. So
Yeah.
I lived with boys that were running from line to line, not because they were dreaming with the Champions League song as I was, but because they were in need of helping their family to bring a dish with food to a table, to pay the rent, and not being expelled from the room. And that for me was something of creating a lot of empathy that I would not have because of that crazy bubble that we experienced in Peru. But football, from the really young age, allowed me to feel empathy and feel really close and compromised with these human beings, these brothers, that because of destiny, were not as lucky as me. And I'm not a third generation person of a wealthy family. My father came from Syria with no money, my grandfather and my father. And this country gave us everything to go forward, to exploit our talents and to give back. So I think we are doing what we should have been doing. And after this football opportunity, I was able to go and study to Boston. And when I graduated as an economist, because I wanted to be involved in development, did not know how or where I was going to be placed, but I was looking for my wetsuit. And I actually was lucky enough to find it the last year of college, where I was deciding if I was going to stay in New York or Chicago working. I had some opportunities already in Europe. I have a European passport, Italian passport, so I could have gone back to Europe as an option. I watched some TED Talks of my mentor. I talked to you in the previous conversation before of the podcast. And this guy
What's his name?
Richard Rowe. He was, back in the day, 80 years old, was assistant dean, was dean of, or vice dean of the Harvard School of Education, professor in Harvard and MIT, and sold a dot-com company, and was president worldwide of One Laptop Per Child, the project that delivered the white laptops with the antennas, the green antennas worldwide. It was he was a leader of that program. So he had these TED Talks, and I said, okay, so this is the guy that had the vision that I wanted to have. So I made some research, and he worked 5 minutes from my house in Boston.
What?
I sent him, yeah, I was so lucky. I sent him an email to solutions@Toledo, was his foundation, hoping that, or expecting nobody to answer. I wrote like a crazy young Peruvian saying, I'm going back to my country, I'm going to start this initiative. I sent him a business plan, a video I prepared like for 1 month for that event. And he wrote back directly himself. He told me, hey, man, I would love to get to know you. Please come to my office tomorrow. I'm leaving to Jordan tonight for a project. So I put my suit on. Now I don't use suits. I'm more relaxed, but I put on my suit. I was like, oh, okay, this is. But I'm really passionate. So my veins were going out of my neck when I was explaining what I wanted to do. And he told me, well, man, I think you're crazy enough to work with me, because it's not a matter of connections. I'm telling you, it's not a matter of abilities. It's not a matter of resources or money. What you want to do, my friend, it's almost impossible or impossible. But the only reason I want to work with you, and I think you have chances of accomplishing this, is because you have irrational motivation. You have an irrational commitment for something. So I really believe that you are not going to throw the towel. So let's work together. And I stepped in his hombros. Sorry about my English.
Shoulders. On the shoulders of giants.
Yeah, I stepped on his shoulders and so many other shoulders. that looking back, I really cannot believe what I did. I'm an ex-football player, and I have created something that is patented, that I'm working with networks and software and so much things that are something I would never have imagined. And for me, it's amazing, but we are just in half of this road to our goal. But really, really, really thankful to have this opportunity of encountering this adventure. I'm allowing myself to exploit my talents, to convert into, I think, the person I was meant to be, thanks to this initiative.
This is incredible, man. I always love these stories where you don't know how to take all this energy, all this energy and all this energy to change the world. And you just know that you want to do something, but you don't know where to go, or you don't know what key. You have the key, but you don't know which door to open, or you have the door, but you don't know which key to use. And that's incredible that you were able to send that email, talk to someone that was going to guide your efforts. And now you're actually making a change. When I look back at my journey, obviously I'm not attempting to change 8 million people's lives through internet. But when I look back at my journey, I used to work at Scotiabank here in Toronto for the wealth management team. So I used to see millionaires' money and help manage their money. And I loved parts of it, but I knew that it wasn't for me, And when I finally quit the bank in 2017 to pursue my professional career in comedy, that was the game plan. And yes, I still do stand up, and I've traveled the world in many ways to go speak and do comedy. But now I'm doing lots of things that I knew I was born for, because now I have the time, the energy, the reflection. But if I was stuck in that cubicle, all I'm doing is doing what I'm doing and just doing like the financials, but my mind was like, I want to be on stage. I want to be performing. I want to be traveling. So I always feel like my dad says, he always has a phrase of like, time will tell, and time will give you the reason, time will.
Yeah, you have to be, you really need, I'm not religious really, but everything good and bad has taken me to this moment. So I know it's not happening to me. The bad things are happening for me.
Yeah.
So you just need, I love this saying from this, is a Chinese proverb that from a Chinese farmer, and his community continuously came and told him he was lucky or bad, or was really had bad luck. And he said, maybe. Because at the end of the day, you don't know, you know what's going to happen. Maybe I was not lucky because in football, I did not accomplish my initial dream. But if I would look back, I would not change this for anything, because I believe that I'm exploiting not only my physical capabilities, but my intellectual capabilities. And I am on the way to, if God helps me, to inspire and impact as much people as possible. And that goes the same to a CEO as to a one that cleans your shoes. So that's the algorithm we should go after. Not money. I know people, I have been lucky enough, as you, to meet people without taking any recognition from their work. Its success is difficult. But I don't understand why we should invest our time and efforts just to benefit me or benefit someone that we're not making that much of a difference because his pocket is full. Why don't we try to impact the lives of people that really need help, So I'm not in the search of being the most millionaire of the cemetery. I want, and this might sound crazy, I want to destroy the cemetery with the steppings of the people that go to say goodbye to. That's the guy I want to be in the cemetery.
Man.
So
I love that.
I believe that to accomplish this mission, that for me is what human beings should go after, to exploit your talent, that we radiate value to people around you, maybe your family and your friends, but you think you have enough energy and talents and hunger, I think you can impact the world. And I used to feel uncomfortable saying it, but I think we overestimate what we can do in a year, and we underestimate what we can do in 10.
Yeah, man, I love that phrase. I say it all the time too. I love it, dude. It's like we're brothers from another mother here. We have the same mentality.
I consider your mother that has helped me so much in my recent development as a coach. I consider her as I don't know if I am being abusive in the confidence, but a second mother, So
Yeah,
I think she's, as I say, a crack and an amazing heart and a great woman. So you should be proud of being his son.
Well, I think you're ahead of your time. I mean, you were born in many ways. I think everybody needs a Karim in their life. Every country needs a Karim, because you know what? Some people, and I don't blame them, because I'm not one of them. Some people love to go to the office and love to do their 9 to 5. They love to go home, eat, watch Netflix or watch the news, and repeat for 60 years. And you know what? Hey, if that's your game, that's your game. That's fine. But every country needs a Karim, because you need dreamers. You need people who want to change the world. Otherwise, we'll stay with the same world forever, So I love it. And at the end of the day, I think you have a very clear understanding that it's not what happens to you, it's who you become in the process and the lives that you touch. For example, like Kobe Bryant, amazing, 5 rings, incredible player. But the Mamba mentality and the lives that he's been able to touch with his mentality, incredible. Naomi Osaka, okay, great tennis player, etc. But what she's done for mental health and talking about mental health and prioritizing yourself before the accolades or your achievements. I think how, like Tony Robbins says it, in many ways, I used to be that person. I still am, and I try to be the other one. He says, I used to achieve to be happy. Now I happily achieve. So it's not about the accolades. It's not about deriving your self-worth and your happiness from the money, from the accolades, from the bonus, from the US Opens, from the rings, from the championships. It's also being happy in the process. Now, it's hard. It's hard because the grind as an entrepreneur.
Man. Look, you cannot see it, but I'm 29 years old and I grow a white hair each 5 days in my beard.
Yeah.
And I think it's stress. I don't know what is it, but it's a constant struggle. I don't stop, I'm obsessed. I'm in the toilet and I'm having ideas. I'm a mountain bike. I'm a motorcycle rider. And they say you get abstracted in the motorcycle. I don't. I have ideas on my project. I have to stop. And I have to get the WhatsApp and send the voice note, because if not, I can lose ideas. And and in my searching at night, I'm the same. It's like a sponge, nonstop, Monday to Monday, 7 years. And I'm obsessed. I cannot stop. So it's really something that I cannot control. And sometimes it's too much.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful, in a sense, because what I'm trying to do, it's something that creates value for me, for others. So it's not that I'm doing something that don't benefit me directly or indirectly, or people that I think that are important,
Dude, I connect so much, and I have a workshop called the Productivity Machine Workshop that is actually about achieving happiness and the freedom to happily achieve, and I think you would love it. But I'll tell you all about it in the after the podcast. But I think you would love it because we have the same mindset. I want to dig into access to the digital age as a human right and reducing inequality in underdeveloped nations. For example, Peru, Guatemala, Honduras, Bolivia, and others.
Costa Rica mismo. Costa Rica, las selvas de Costa Rica, ¿no? El 70% del planeta no tiene internet confiable. 7 de cada 10 humanos no tienen internet confiable. Algunos tienen un chip en su celular y se conectan a una torre y tienen que... sorry, I forgot. I let myself flow, sometimes, and it's a problem. But yeah, 70% of the world does not have reliable access to connectivity to a digital age, to internet. And for me, when I decided to start this project, was the biggest problem that nobody, or appeared that nobody, was taking serious. And I identified in Boston, at like this eureka moment, and I decided to start with this project. But you're right.
So how it seems like a huge undertaking. When I look at your videos on Instagram and the Uaiki account and the interviews that you've done for Peruvian TV and radio, I'm like, dude, this is a huge project because, okay, I want to take internet to all these people, 8 million people in Peru, but it's not like you just touch something and it happens. So,
sure.
What I know, obviously, we can't summarize 7 years in 2 minutes, but if you could summarize it and explain it to a 10-year-old in very simple, plain language, what were the first steps in being able to access these people, the financing and the capital required to reach these areas, partnering with government agencies maybe, or are you doing it privately? What steps were the first steps, if you could explain it to a 10-year-old?
Well, first it was R&D, trying to understand initially the problem. I used to I had regular experience to travel to highlands. I moved to highlands. I moved to a community that did not have internet, but did not have water, did not have meat. I lost 15 kilograms in 5 months.
What?
Yeah, I was bigger. I haven't regained my weight after that. But yeah, I believe that if you want to understand the problem, you need to go deep into the problem. You need to experience it. You need to suffer it. You need to live it, And I had the luck. I put the socks and I put the shoes of the people I wanted to help. And I understood the problems but opportunities as well. So then I understood the recipe. How was I going to tropicalize a solution for Peru and privileged nations, Because, as you said, internet is not magical. People told me 5 years ago, why are you doing what you're doing? If Elon Musk by 2020 is going to give free internet to the world, fast internet to the world, it's going to be available. So why you're doing this? Because people, and me included, I used to be a former software player. So people don't want to get too deep to connectivity networks, the router, Wi-Fi. I don't know what is it. Okay, just configure it and leave it open. I don't want to go inside that world, because that world is too complex. It's a science. Actually, the less precise science that we've got in physics is connectivity networks, because it's too many variables. Like you buy a system from Verizon or from Telefonica, and they tell you 30% is guaranteed. And you say, why? Why are they telling me that 30% of the bandwidth is guaranteed and paying 100%? Because they cannot guarantee you. They cannot guarantee you anything, because it depends on the level of battery of your device. The device, what content are you looking? How many devices are connected? How far from it? So many variables to make it a science that is not 100% sure what is going to provide to the field, especially in remote locations. So internet, because of these limitations and difficulties and complexities, countries like Costa Rica, Peru, Guatemala, many countries, especially with such diverse geographies, where we have the mountains, the jungles, and we don't have unlimited budget, and populations in these rural areas don't pay much taxes, so there is not enough money for infrastructure. You have these problems that rivers of access to the internet that reach big cities, metropolis, do not reach. They reach not as rivers, but as riachuelos. Maybe you can make a translation.
Yeah.
The rivers, the Amazon rivers, don't reach these communities. Internet may reach the community, but it's a really limited internet that if it reaches a school, only 1 or 2 people can connect it simultaneously.
So it's not reliable.
Not reliable at all. And in a school, you're a teacher, they tell you already have internet, but the internet is only used by the director because you cannot connect more than 2 devices. So that's the
Wow.
reality. You have thousands of schools from Latin America with laptops, with tablets. I call them Ferraris with gasoline because they have electricity with no roads. So you have 70 to 60% of the population of Latin America with device, with digital illiteracy, with energy. So you have a pilot, a car, and gasoline, and you have them stuck in the garage in this global crisis of COVID, where they need to continue studying digitally, having access to telemedicine, to entrepreneurship opportunities, to news. And these people that need it the most, they don't have access. So this is my commitment. This is a frustration I've got. So how do we get this solution to the people that need it the most? I've been trying to work with the public sector of my country for 6 years. I've seen 15 ministries changing in each 4 months. We are in a huge political crisis in Peru. It's impossible to work with the government, no leadership at all. And in the private sector, there is loss of trust in the public sector. So they are not that committed as they should to invest in solutions in the rural areas because they think that their mines are going to be taken away in a few months. The pessimists think this. So why invest in our country? Why do international mines invest in Peru if they're going to take the mines out of us? So it's difficult to find financing, but thanks to my family, especially thanks to my family, and thanks to close friends that recently invested in the project, we have gained enough budget to be in 11 states in Peru, in more than 50 communities, impacting thousands of individuals of different ages. And we are on the verge of going after more capital through the private sector to implement in thousands of communities while we continue to go after the public sector here and in our nations. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. But as I'm telling you, this is not a one-year project. Definitely. I'm expecting to invest the next 15 to 20 years at least of my life in this initiative. But I know that through connectivity, we can allow a context where people are going to decide if they want or not to exploit their talent, if they want or not to change their lives, something they cannot do now because they are trapped, they are enchained to a destiny they have not chosen. And for me, that's something that is not fair. And if I can do something, I have the perspective that that's true leadership. If you can do something, you have to do it. It's a duty.
Love it.
It's a duty. And I hope that I can convince more people because that's what I do. I have sessions like you do right now, and I'm recruiting an army of people that share my mission, that my mission is now theirs, and they're pushing, not because of me, because of their heart. So
I love it.
That I want you to be part of this vision. I think you are in a sense, but if you want to collaborate in any way possible, I invite you. You know, the doors are open.
100%. We're gonna get this message out to a lot of people, and that's why we're doing it in English because, I mean, you never know who can invest. You never know who has a sentimental connection with Peru, with the rural areas. You never know who can be your ambassador in taking internet. Some people are very passionate. Actually, I know somebody who would love to talk to you. His name is Bill Gates. No, I'm kidding. His name, yeah, Bill Gates, my friend. He was on the podcast. No, I'm kidding. Renzo Casapia, Peruvian, was on my podcast, lives in Mexico, and works for Cengage. Do you know him?
I don't, but I would be glad to get to know him anytime.
He writes for Forbes. He loves technology. He basically uses technology to take education to people all around the world through Cengage. And he writes for Forbes on technology. He would love to talk to you. He's the nicest guy, Peruvian.
That would be amazing.
He loves soccer too, like us. Because I've worked in the wealth management sector and I structured deals for 7 years, it would strike me as that there's not a lot of people with your love and mindset and energy to benefit the world with no tangible return on investment. Now, for you, there's a clear return on investment because you love doing this. But when you talk to the private sector, to individuals, they're like, okay, Karim, I could imagine people being like, okay, Karim, yeah, I love it. I love helping out the rural people.
I think they don't know economics because we're pushing the wheel 5% of the world. So how can we do not live in scarcity? How can we do not live in scarcity if 99% of the world cannot accomplish a dream, cannot be an entrepreneur, cannot help their family?
Oh, I agree. So, I just feel like people would be like, I give you $1 million, is there going to be a return on an investment on my $1 million? I know I'm helping people.
For sure. But I think that countries, development banks, for example, USAID invests $65 billion a year. You would say, whoa, that's an amazing amount of money. But they invest in war $650 billion a year. So they invest in war $650 billion and in peace $65 billion. So it's 10% of what they invest in destroying the world. So if we would funnel that money to programs that at the end of the day would allow people to get opportunities to try to change their lives and their families, from each 100 people, 100 children, 1 to 2%, Stephan, is a genius. It's a genius like Mozart, it's a genius like Elon, it's a genius like Cristiano. But it's a genius. And if we would get 100% of Peruvian opportunities, we would have 60,000 geniuses. And I'm no genius. I'm a guy that takes jokes that make people don't laugh, that I kick the furniture with the toe. I'm a regular guy. I'm just crazy with my confidence and my energy. But I can imagine what geniuses could do with opportunities.
Yeah.
We would have a world where scarcity would not be there, and we would have an economy would be incredibly strong, not right like now. So I believe it's in benefit of everyone to try to level the playing field, you know? That's what I'm trying to
do. I totally agree. And if I had the money, I would give you the $1 million, but I know how rich people think. I know how entrepreneur people think. I know how venture capitalists think. So private equity firms, I know how they think. So they would be like, yeah, I can do this and get some like maybe 0 return or 1% or 2%, or I can, because everything has an opportunity cost.
For sure.
So obviously, if I get to sit with you for 2 hours, you're going to convince me because you're very passionate and I want to be part of your army. But a lot of people don't think like that. In fact, you may not get 2 hours with everybody. You may just be able to get them indirectly. And if they don't see the clear ROI, the return on the investment monetarily with a clear timeline, they may not do it. So
this is what we're actually struggling to accomplish. Because if we are expecting the public sector, if we are expecting people with good hearts to help us, it's depending on them. And I don't want to depend on them. So what we are trying to do is we are improving, we're optimizing our commercial B2C model, because we have a B2B that is working, but B2B takes several meetings to close a deal. So It's not scalable. You know, maybe when you're well positioned, they're calling you with 50 projects at once. It's a different story, but it takes time. A B2C model, if you make it work in 1 or 2 or 3 communities and you create a profitable model through the final user, you can get capital and you can actually help change the world on large scale at a fast pace. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. It's taking us time, but as I'm telling you, we have time on our side, you know, and we're not going to stop going forward.
I love it. And I've experienced the same thing, you know, because for my first year quitting the bank, my game plan was to do stand-up comedy. And I started teaching this course called Public Speaking Through Comedy, where we would help people become confident speakers. Now, the game plan was to partner, well, apart from doing shows and teaching the classes to people, but that was very hard to sell because we were newbies, we were rookies. But so I started emailing like the government and agencies and everything, and like nobody wanted to touch us. Nobody wanted to do anything with us because we had no experience. There was not a lot of we didn't have a good bio or resume. Who are these guys? But now, 6 years later, now we're getting calls from them. So the game plan, we quickly understood that we had to the money. If we wanted to do this long term and not go broke, we had to get money from the private sector. So
Sure.
now it's crazy because now I do a lot of corporate workshops, a lot of corporate clients, a lot of corporate comedy shows, a lot of corporate everything. And with that money, I subsidize what I love, With that money, I subsidize helping teaching the classes that I can drive the price down. Then I can do stand-up comedy, enjoying it because I want to, not because I have to. And then like 15 years down the road, the government is going to be calling me, hey, can you do this for us? But you have to find a way to survive.
It's a process. Yeah, we need to find a way to survive. Even though as I'm telling you initially, I recognize that I have been incredibly lucky to enjoy the support initially from my family, even though it wasn't no innovation budget, no real innovation budget. I think I have been working with a really tiny budget, but make it magic because the mission sells. So I can get people that would charge me 10x. They work for me for X, 2x. So I have a team of 25 people for the cost of 5 people. That's what I got. No.
Yes.
And not every time you have the 25 people with a lot of experience because it means they have a huge opportunity cost. But I believe that through this experience, that is a big challenge, I'm allowing myself to be a much better leader and to learn from all the mistakes that we make that at the end of the day are lessons. So I believe it's vital to start early and to, do not see any failure as a failure, just as a lesson, because that's what's going to take you to the next stepping stone, just your experience. And that's making mistakes really, really fast,
Yeah. A lot of people who have accomplished great things in life, they have a huge action bias where they act and then they see if they worked and it didn't, but they did something, One of the things that I wanted to share with you before I ask you about UcloudNet is that my business partner, Juan, always says that at the beginning, when you quit and you start this, people will say, why are you doing this? And then they'll say, oh my God, how did you do it? After 15 or 10 or 20 years, when you're at the top, they're like, oh, I knew Karim when he was starting. Yeah, he's my friend. Yeah. Tell me about it.
It's crazy. First, I actually see the waves because since I'm doing a social project, you have sometimes more support. But, I have been raised with the same conditions as my friends. So I believe that it's easy for them to compare what they are doing, what I'm doing. And when you push yourself that much, sometimes you do make people feel uncomfortable. Then, because you have done something so amazing, they could have criticized you maybe because of insecurity, but afterwards they recognize you again. And as you say, their stories, how they met you, or experience they had with you. And I think that's nice in a sense to feel recognition, but I don't feel that all the people do it because of that. Even though I feel, and I want to make this opportunity to tell people that you should play with the ego of everyone, because everyone, the most recognized people in the world, have a huge ego. So if you go, as I did, to this Harvard Dean, president of One Laptop Trail, that should have not answered to me. Like, the math did not add up. Why? But he did respond because I told him he was the most brilliant mind in Massachusetts that could help this lucky Peruvian to live 5 minutes away from his office. And if he helped me, I would be the luckiest Peruvian in the US. So,
yeah, man.
You touch people hard like that, and it's like, okay, where are you? I want to continue hearing what you want to do.
Yeah, and a lot of these people are lonely at the top. Everybody's like, Oh, and then they want to be with people that are passionate, that remind them why they're doing what they're doing. And at the end of the day, I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy you wrote that email, because that means we're here right now, touching more people's lives.
I'm thankful to my roommate. You know, it's one of my closest friends, Gonzalo Arrioleca. Actually, you might know Gonzalo.
Yeah,
you might know Gonzalo. Micha used to be my roommate in Boston, and I'm a crazy guy, and I talk simply too much. Micha is the closest friend of my younger brother, 2 years younger than me, that in that moment was staying in New York. He was in Boston with Micha. So I had this idea, this Eureka moment that I'm telling you about, that I had the luck to be in Coursera. I had these courses from Dan Ariely that changed my world. Dan Ariely from Duke, that is a specialist in behavioral economics. And 2 weeks after, I watched a video of this guy from Brazil that worked in the jungle, that invented this low-cost solution that you had a bottle of water, and he put bleach on it and make a hole in his ceiling, and the bottle started like glowing like blue, electric blue, like a bulb, like a solar bulb, they call it. So I made click. I said, okay, so there are solutions through the web that can change people's lives, but would not reach people that need their lives to be changed because they don't have internet. So what is going on? I have to create a bridge to allow this content that can change lives to reach people that need to change their lives. So I was repeating my idea, what I want to do. I was obsessed. And then I saw this guy videos, and Micha told me, hey man, you're turning me crazy. Please put this on paper. Put this on paper, my friend. You're in the Mecca of education and learning, Boston. Go after someone, present your project, and stop making my life miserable, please. Please,
So I grew up in many ways with Micha and Manuela, because Juliana is my mom's best friend.
It's such a coincidence. It's such a coincidence. I know. I recognize Juliana's picture after 100 sessions with your mother. I saw one of her picture with her friend, and I saw the eyebrows of Juliana. That are easy to recognize. And I say, those are Manuela's eyebrows. That's Micha's mother. What is going on here? It was a crazy moment with your mother when we recognized that Micha was my
Juliana and my mom are like twins. And so Juliana came to my wedding with Gonzalo, obviously, in Costa Rica, everything. We could talk about them.
Story. So I presented the project to Richard, and I was lucky enough for him to receive me. And I consider him now not only a mentor, but a second grandfather. And it's a horrible situation for elder people, like my grandmother is 76, always complaining about her age and make it an excuse. And I tell her, no. I work with someone that now it's 88 and it's more smart and has more energy than I have. So don't put the excuse of your age, because there are people like this guy changing the world for countries like ours, working on Sundays.
I love it,
age
man.
is just a number,
I love it, man. I really admire the fact that you've been able to deploy Uaiki's patented low-cost solution, UcloudNet, the connectivity ecosystem within disadvantaged communities across Latin America to change millions of lives. And can you explain exactly what UcloudNet is? Is it like a router, or what is it? And then can you share examples of ways that people's lives have been changed? Maybe people are now able to learn English.
If you want, Stefan, I could click. I have a video here of 1 minute, 60 seconds. That in that video, I show what we have done in 11 states of Peru, and in the jungle, in the highlands, how this solution works and how it's changing lives. Actually, to make a sort of resume or brief before the video, we have created a hardware piece. It's like a small box. You can take it anywhere, to the heart of the jungle, to Huascaran, or the highest mountain. You can connect it to an electric system or to a solar system, and it deploys a connectivity Wi-Fi network, a cloud, a wireless cloud. When you are inside this cloud, that it can be 200 meters, 500 meters, 1,000 meters, it's modular. It depends on the antennas that I connect. So it depends on the budget that you have and how many people you want to connect. It's completely modular. It adapts to each program. So I can create these huge clouds inside of a community or of a plaza or a district or a health post or a school or a community center or a library, wherever, a crossroads, And in these places where it's like melting points, hubs of people, I allow unlimited access to more than 100,000 contents aligned to education, health, entrepreneurship, culture, sports, and it's connected to satellite internet. So it updates with new content, and it allows users to access the internet with control without creating a bottleneck. And you download material from the internet without ruining the connectivity because you work around the bottleneck. You download, for example, a video of Stephan that you wanted to share with your whole community. But if your community would want to access it simultaneously, it would have been impossible. So what you do as a leader of your community, you download the Stephan video from YouTube and you upload it to this cloud that has different platforms such as YouTube, such as Google News, such as Mercado Libre, different platforms like Netflix. You upload it to these different platforms and it's available for everyone in the future without data consumption and at high speed. And you can even not only stream it, but download it. So this is the kind of ecosystem that we are allowing people to access any place in the world for 10% or less of what it costs to bring internet to more than 10 to 20 people. And we're talking about benefiting communities of thousands of people. That would cost, with the regular technology, nowadays technology of satellite internet, optical fiber, in places like Peru, Costa Rica, with such diverse geographies, it could cost more than $10,000, $20,000 to connect a community to 2,000 or 3,000 people a month in a remote location. So it's impossible to pay. Impossible to pay. With my solution, it costs dimes of a dollar, like 2 cents of a dollar per month to connect one person, But it's a really, really, really low cost system. And I'm going to show you in a video so you can have a sense of what we're doing. And if someone motivates to collaborate with the project, I welcome them to get in touch with me, to visit my site. And if they want to travel Peru to the highlands or the jungles and visit the communities, they can do it and I can help them reach it. So, yeah.
I love it. Let's share it.
A lo largo del mundo abundan poblados de escasos recursos. 1/3 de la población global vive en extrema pobreza. Más del 60% de la población no cuenta con acceso confiable a Internet. El acceso a oportunidades de desarrollo y emprendimiento son muy limitadas. Hoy, finalmente, la tecnología puede resolver este problema. Uaiki ha creado UcloudNet, un sistema de bajo costo capaz de emitir grandes nubes de conectividad Wi-Fi para que los peruanos que estén en las zonas más alejadas se conecten al mundo digital y puedan acceder a través de una experiencia amigable y segura a lo mejor del Internet, incluyendo más de 100.000 contenidos precargados alineados a educación, telemedicina, cultura y desarrollo sostenible para así lograr empoderarse y cambiar sus vidas. A su vez, hemos desarrollado una biblioteca virtual alojando una gran variedad de recursos digitales y aplicaciones. Esta plataforma, en conjunto con nuestro centro de entretenimiento, mercado digital, Wikipedia y otros servicios útiles, han sido integrados al ecosistema UcloudNet. Nuestra solución patentada permite que miles de comunidades excluidas y alejadas puedan acceder a información valiosa del Perú y el mundo, potencien su educación y bienestar, descubran nuevos intereses, desarrollen habilidades esenciales, emprendan y se mantengan bien informados. UcloudNet puede conectarse con el Internet para mantenerse actualizado, mientras limite el acceso a contenido inapropiado y garantice un funcionamiento óptimo en cualquier dispositivo y en todo lugar, permitiendo así romper hoy la gran brecha digital que afecta el desarrollo de millones de peruanos. Únete al movimiento Uaiki. Conectemos al Perú desconectado con UcloudNet.
What it's actually one of my dreams is for people to dream as ambitiously as I'm trying to dream. Sorry about the language of the video. I don't have it in English right now.
No, it's good. It's good.
But as you see in the last image, this boy watching the Wikipedia of NASA, watching the the rocket and dreaming of being an astronaut instead of dreaming of having one horse more than the neighbor or driving the taxi of the community. That's what's going to change the world, allowing people to dream and let them have access to tools, to education, to knowledge that allow them to exploit their talents. That's actually my dream. It sounds cursi. It sounds like something stupid, but it's actually for people to be as crazy as me, to dream as crazy as I have dreamed, as you're dreaming, because your dream is also really ambitious, and you have to have courage, and see other people doing it. You need to compare yourself. You need examples, and I compare myself with Elon Musk. I compare myself with Cristiano Ronaldo. I see my hands and say, I see 10 fingers. And I see Cristiano hands and say, I see 10 fingers. I see 2 eyes. I see 2 eyes. And I say, I can try. This guy is no more than me. I can try. And that's the start, I think that's the start.
Man, I love it. I love it. That's super important, because when you can see people around you in your vicinity or know of people that have done it, it helps you believe that you can do it too. When like Jefferson Farfán, we used to clean the cars outside of the stadium, right? And then he did that. He went to Germany for many years. Like, a lot of people see that and they're like, I can do it too. Why not me? Like Russell.
At least we should try. At least we have to try, especially if we're as me. If people with no resources, with no one supporting their back, have accomplished amazing dreams, people from privileged backgrounds, I believe, have the duty to go after their dreams. And I believe, too, the duty to try to irradiate more value than to their life because of their privilege. That's not luck. It's not that you're lucky and no, I'm lucky. No, that's something that it's privilege, and privilege is responsibility. It's like walking through the street and being a huge guy, and you see a bully kicking someone, like being a bully to someone that is really slim, really small. If you can protect him, you have to. For me, that's a kind of like the philosophical sense of
responsibility.
Leadership. Of responsibility.
I love it, man. When you've helped so many people across Peru and other areas, is there a specific example of somebody that has been able to do something that has really touched you that you can share through the access of internet?
For sure. Well, for example, and I'm going to take this simple example from the first community I lived in. It was 5 months that I lived in this community. The people from the community turned into my friends, then eventually almost to my family and brothers. We were working around the clock, not only implementing the program, but building this school that we constructed from the bottom up. And this guy that was really involved in the construction, he was zero tech savvy, did not have a smartphone. He had an old Nokia phone with even though they had no reliable connectivity of cell phone connectivity, no internet. He was using a really old phone. He was, when I told him, hey, can you record? He was really afraid. He was not feeling comfortable on technology. He did not finish secondary school, but he was smart. He had a great attitude. We launched the program. I trained him to be the leader of this digital library program in his community. I returned 2 weeks after, and he was tech savvy because I left him a tablet. He was tech savvy. He asked for my phone as soon as I arrived to the community, told him if he could record me. Like he was like before he was afraid of bringing the phone. Now he was like using the phone like it was a thing. He not only was helping his community, his wife and his daughter were always in the program each day that he launched. And after a few weeks of being this leader, he recognized that he wanted to get in secondary school again. And now he has finished secondary school. Not only that, but you see that solutions being implemented in that house. that of the video, that you see the house with those different low-cost solutions that actually clean water, allow you to take water from the mist, filter water, reduce 50% of wood necessary to cook. These low-cost solutions he implemented in his household. So he now has all these low-cost solutions that Uaiki has developed materials like IKEA manuals and videos for them to implement these solutions because they are really construction savvy in these communities. And he has remodeled his house, turning it into a sustainable home. So he's improving his quality of life, improving sustainability and developing, being an example of his community, not only with his quality of life, but also getting to high school and now being even tech savvy. So possibilities are unlimited. Possibilities are unlimited of what people can do. Have you seen El Niño que domó el viento? The boy that dominated the wind.
Yeah. I was thinking of that when you were talking.
Man, with one old book and chatarra and trash,
scrap,
he changed his life and the life of his community. And now he's in Dartmouth making an MBA. But imagine if that boy would have unlimited access to a solution like mine. What would have him and other friends of his community could have done? You know,
incredible.
That's my question. With an old book, he was able to do that. What about giving these geniuses unlimited access? We would be teletransportating, my friend.
Incredible. You know? And the example that he's giving to his daughter. Can you imagine that? What her daughter is going to be able to accomplish, because kids are esponjas, you know, they're sponges. They grab everything. They understand. My son is 2 years old, and they learn, they see, they copy, and the 5 chimps theory, like you've heard it probably, where it's like you're the average of the 5 people closest to you. What one chimp can do, the others will do, and imagine this guy being an example for his community. He's indirectly impacting the people around him, and those around him, like impacting the others around them. His daughter is going to go to school showing her friends these things, at which point her friends are going to do them as well, implement them in their households. It is
That's
like
the reason I do this project. Is how you can transcend. You know, you're one, and you can transcend throughout people. And you know how, for me, one of the best feelings is not only to help people from unprivileged backgrounds, but every once in a while, every 2 to 3 weeks, someone that I've met from a young age get in touch with me and tells me, "Hey, man, I cannot continue avoiding getting into your project and helping you. Like I'm seeing what you're doing, and I feel that I have to do something. You know, I feel that I can do something. You know, you are making me feel compromised, that and even that I cannot continue looking that way." So for me, people that are close to me, not only congratulating me, but telling me that they want to be part of this, that they have been inspired, man. You know, for me, that's how we're going to change the world. That's how we're going to change the world.
You know, the Matrix, like the red pill or the blue pill? Like you took the one that you had to take, and you're changing the world, man. Nothing wrong with the people who do it, but you could have chilled. And like, you know, those horses that have the things in their eyes and they don't look, they just, oh no, I'm in my lane. I don't care about anybody else. I have to provide for my family. Again, that it deserves, it has dignity, and it's respectable to just provide for your family. It's respectful and admirable. But I tip my hat to you, because not everybody does it. And especially if they haven't grown in poverty. Like if a lot of people, like you're.
But I was so lucky, you know. My father came here with nothing. My friends as well, and I've been raised as an immigrant, and I'm so thankful for that, you know. And I have been really close to all this geopolitical crisis in the Middle East, because my father was born in Damascus, and he wanted me to feel empathy for that problem. So I think since 2002, 2003, I forced myself to be exposed out of the bubble to recognize I did not live in the world that I wanted to live. And if you live in a world that you don't want to live, you have two choices. You look down and you say, okay, this is what it is, and you shut down, or you change the world that you don't want to live in. And I'm so lucky that I have always felt confidence in me, and I've never said that I'm not good enough to undertake this project or mission. So for me, it was something else, another mission that I have that I want to conquer. And I thought it was going to take me 7 months, my friend. I thought it was going to take me 7 months.
I love it. But even then, man, I'm telling you, it mad respect, because I know a lot of second-generation immigrants or third-generation immigrants, even in Canada, which is a great country, and there is still poverty in some places in Canada, obviously, and a lot of people don't know it, especially the indigenous peoples of Canada have it horrible. And a lot of people, again, nothing against them, but a lot of people decide to chill. I mean, my dad was poor. I'm not poor. I'm going to enjoy this fucking life and just do whatever I want to do, And so mad respect to you, because clearly there's something that you identify as bigger than you. That you have a purpose, you have a mission, and that really drives you. So as we get to the end of this episode, this is the rapid fire question, a section of the podcast where you just get the question and respond as quick as you can. The first thing that comes to mind. Okay. So,
okay.
I lose track of time when I'm
making research.
What have you done in the past 3 months that makes you feel proud?
Every day, man. I challenge myself every day. I feel proud of myself every night.
I love it.
But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay,
as
if you
specific
could,
as that, I don't know. But I'm working my I consider myself a volcano, and yes, it's good. It's good for some parts, for farming. It's amazing. People go. They want to be around the volcano every time, but the volcano explodes. So
yeah.
I'm canalizing my energy, and I feel proud that I'm not because of me, but because of my people, because I want to be better for my people, for my team, for my family. And that's something, for example, your mother as a coach is helping me to canalize that energy. I feel proud that I'm working on that. It's a long road. I'm working on it.
If you could invite 3 people for dinner, dead or alive, who would you invite?
Well, I would invite Thomas Edison. I would invite Nelson Mandela, probably, and Elon Musk to a table.
I love
something
it.
Like that.
If you could study with any expert in the world, who would you study with?
Right now, any expert, I think it would be between Michael Porter and Dan Ariely.
And who are they?
Probably.
Quickly. Who are they?
Dan Ariely. Dan Ariely, specialist in behavioral economics in Duke, one of the chief of the offices of psychology and economics. He is the pioneer on irrational behavior and research. He has a huge budget to make experiments, and you need to read his books. It's going to change your mind. It actually inspired me to start this project. That was a professor I learned about in Coursera. He gave me an axe in 5 minutes that I could use the next day. For me, that was crazy. And who other? Michael Porter, the Porter 5 Forces. He's a promoter of the creating shared value strategy that actually is creating like a conscious capitalism. And at the end, it's the only way to reach the top of the market is to be a generous capitalist, to give back, to promote value to society. And that's creating shared value strategy. So for me, those academics are, I think my hat, they're changing the world. I have the luck to be on the table with Richard Rowe, my mentor, every day. But if not, that will be another person I would love.
Beautiful.
To
What book have you recommended most to others?
Oh, How to Win Friends and Influence People, man. Dale Carnegie.
Wow, I
How
love
to
it. I love it. What?
Yeah,
Okay, what?
it changed lives.
What lesson took you the longest to learn?
What lesson took me the longest to learn? That passion is a key recipe in everything that you have to do. I used to hate public speaking, man. I used to think that I was the worst in public speaking. Now I can do speeches to hundreds of people improvised. I can do hip hop freestyle raps of 4 minutes if I'm inspired, you know. And the crazy thing is that I used to think I was a cripple in public speaking. It was not till I went to this community and I started talking first in the road of this community, not a concrete road, but a classic dirt road, to one mother of the community. Then another was curious to stop. Then another, and then I was talking to 15 people, 20 people. My veins were on my neck, and I was like, screaming and work like talking from my heart. And I understand like how your talents can really go like this when you feel passion, and that's why I invite people to go after their freaking wetsuit, because if they don't continue looking for it, they're going to find it, and they're going to exploit their talents while being happy about it, feeling proud about it. And yeah,
I love it, man.
It.
I love it. One of my favorite quotes is escape competition through authenticity. The best way to win is being yourself, because nobody can be better at being Karim than Karim, but you got to find out who Karim is, So I love it. Okay.
Sure.
What are 2 to 3 things that you've always wanted to do that are still on your bucket list?
Oh, man. I used to play professional football. Because of lack of financing and lack of time, and I had just brought a programmer from Venezuela, I could not go to a World Cup. I'm praying that Peru goes again to a World Cup. I need to see my country. I used to play for my country where we could not even say. We were youngsters, 15, 17 years old. We could not say Peru was going to World Cup. We're stupid, we say. And now my country is there. And it's not that it's just football. It's that it changes the mindset of every Peruvian, of carpenters, of people working engineering, everyone, You now are a dreamer. You now are fighting against Brazil, fighting against Derma. You are not on the downside of the table, so you're not feeling the worst of Latin America. You're feeling competitive, and that's a mind changer. And well, I want to go to a World Cup because of the symbolism that it represents. That's something I would love to do, even though it might not sound that important, but for me, it's a dream.
No, it is, man. It is huge.
What else? I would love to take in my project internationally, benefiting other nations, other regions such as Central America, such as Africa, Asia. I would love to go back to my father's country and give back to Syria. I don't know. That would be for me amazing. That would be for me a crazy experience.
And the last one, if you had 6 months left to live, how would you spend them?
Well, I would grab my truck. I would invest probably 3 weeks building my kids, and I will go throughout all Peru, man. I would make a map of 1,000 communities or something like that, and I would die on my last day handing this treasure chest to someone. That's my legacy, man. That's the way I'm going to continue living forever, I think.
I love it. And the last question that everybody gets on the podcast is, if we were to meet a year from now, 2023, with a bottle of champagne, what are we celebrating in Karim's life?
I have stopped trying to measure my success with tangible goals, because I'm going after a mission so ambitious that it's going to take years, and I don't want to feel that I'm a failure, not because I don't accomplish this
Yeah.
amount of sales or not. I see back to Karim Rifai version of 2021 compared to the last days of 2022, and I see someone that is more powerful. No,
Yeah, man, I love that.
that's for me. I want to help my country in the next years, but I know I'm gonna be able to help you because in 10 years I'm gonna be much more powerful. And I don't know. I just would want to feel more proud of who I am in a year time.
Yeah, man.
That I feel
Huge.
now.
That really resonates with me because I do goals, and this year I didn't feel like writing tangible goals. I felt more like the goals were in my being, not in my doing. So I really resonate with that.
I want to touch something that is actually said by a Canadian that inspired me a lot, a Canadian immigrant called Chamat Palipatilla, that is the owner of Social Capital, used to be one of the founding team members of Facebook, and now he has this fund that mainly invests in solutions that can help change the world. But it's a huge fund, billions of dollars. And he said something that actually motivates me a lot. And since you might have people from Canada, I feel this might be a phrase of him. I don't know. It's this: what it takes to construct, it takes you to destroy. What it takes you to construct, to build, that's the same time it's gonna take you to destroy. So it really doesn't matter how much time it takes you to build, because the more time it takes you to build, the more time it's gonna take for you to destroy it. So I don't measure my goal necessarily in how much time I'm gonna accomplish it, because the time that it takes me to reach there, I know it's a time that I might be, helping people and making a difference.
Dude, that's your legacy, man. We've come to the end of the podcast.
It was a pleasure.
I'm so happy
really.
that we did this, man. I'm energized. I feel like a Uaiki ambassador.
No, you are now, man.
Shirt.
You're helping us. You're helping us sending the message. We are, going after different shoulders. This is a domino effect, and you have been really helpful. And the same, you have recharged my energy. I have a really challenging day, but it can be every day for us. It's a day that can be a game changer. That's the crazy thing about startups. We work like a startup, even though being an NGO in a sense. But yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity, and I hope that we can meet each other soon. When you come to Lima, man, let me know. We can grab a couple of beers. For sure, we're gonna have a nice time.
I love it, man. Thank you for everything you're doing for the Peruvian people. And I am Peruvian. My whole family is Peruvian, and I haven't been able to live there. So, but I still love the country. I still love the people, and thank you for everything you do, man. Incredible.
No, man. Thank you for your words, but it's just the start, and we have a big mission, but we have a long road ahead of us. So, thank you for pushing us. Help you for pushing us forward.
Like I always say, it's always only just the start. Ladies and gentlemen, Karim Rifai Burneo and Stephan Dyer on the Stephan Dyer Podcast. Ciao, ciao.
Gracias por escuchar el Stephan Dyer Podcast. Arrivederci, my people.